Hello, and welcome to the second episode of the Tales from Sleipnir. My name is Chris, and it's good to see you again. I'm so glad you could come back. I hope you enjoyed the first video. If you haven't checked it out, I'll leave a link to it in the description below, and I'll also have it listed at the end of the video. So, as I said, this is the second video, and I hope to make this just a little bit more lengthy and a little bit more enjoyable, to get a little bit more information out of me, what I know, what I look forward to informing others about, what I look forward to as far as connecting to others with this content. So first off, like I said before, I am a Norse pagan. I also live in the great state of Tennessee. As you can see behind me, I have some rich nature to enjoy. A good bit of scenery. This is actually my backyard. This is what I get to enjoy. This is what I get to wake up to every morning. Come out on the back porch and drink me a cup of coffee. If you can hear it, I do have a rather large stream that runs right through my backyard, which you'll see clips of as the video progresses. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to do a little bit more information about myself, about what I know, what I hope to know, and what I'll be sharing with you as my viewers and subscribers. And first off, I want to start with, base information about me. I am, like I said, a local Tennessean, East Tennessee to be specific, local to the Knoxville area. For those of you who are also pagans who are in the Knoxville area, you're welcome to check out my content, and who knows, leave a comment, let me know where you're at. I may give you a shout out in the next video. So a little bit about my knowledge. Now, as I said before, I am still relatively new to the faith. I have converted as of June of this year, so still moderately new, but I have taken the time to learn a little bit and find some good reading, find some other YouTubers that are Norse pagan that promote this faith, that do it responsibly, which is what I hope to do. I hope to, of course, for lack of anything else, appease my gods and help you guys enjoy, learning. So as opposed to, Christianity, which is a taught religion by most of us by birth, Norse paganism as a whole is more of a community-based learning experience. We have to, find certain material that resonates with us, that helps teach us. Now, of course, that means there is no set way about being Norse pagan. There is no set way about any of this. It's only what you feel is best for you to experience. Now, as I said before, there are many gods in this faith. For me, I have patrons and matron, gods and goddesses. Now, to a lot of people that are pagan, they don't see the appeal to the ideal of matron and patrons. They just see the gods as a whole, which, is respectful. They're respectable, more or less. And I'm not exactly excluding that ideal. I am just promoting my own. So today's video, of course, is a little bit about me, but it's more or less about the stories. Specifically, we are going to be talking about Thor today. Now, for those of you who are familiar with Marvel comics and, pop culture references and such, you have an idea of who Thor is. He is a warrior god who carries his hammer Mjolnir. He is a protector of Midgard, of us as mortals. He is someone who is respectful, who is powerful, who is celebrationy, who's good at celebrating, of course. He's also a heavy drinker, a heavy eater, and definitely not someone you want to make angry, as some of these stories you'll learn as you progress through this series and through books that, later on I can recommend. In videos to come, I will have, certain videos that talk about, what books you could pick up, what books have good information that I think are good. So, to start off, we're going to talk about one of the more humorous stories about Thor. Specifically, the one involving Thor having to dress up as Freya in order to get his hammer back from giants. Now, for those of you who are familiar, this is one of the more humorous stories about Thor, and it is definitely one that is close to my heart, mainly because I am someone who enjoys a good laugh, who enjoys projecting good energy and projecting, humor to my friends and family and such. So this story, although it paints Thor in a very specific kind of light, it's definitely not without its humor. To start with, of course, as the story goes, Thor's hammer is stolen by a giant king and is taken to Jotunheim. Now, to find out where the hammer is taken, Loki requests Freya to let him use her feathered cape so he can fly to Jotun and find out where Thor's hammer is. When he goes to Jotun and speaks to the giant king informs Loki that Mjolnir has been placed 8 miles underground, and the only way to reclaim it would be if the gods brought Freya as a bride to that king. Now, of course, Freya, hearing this news, wants no part in it, because, Freya is considered one of, if not the most beautiful goddess of the Vanir. Now, the Vanir and the Aesir are two separate entities of gods, but they are gods as a whole in the faith. We'll cover that as we go along in other videos to come. So Freya, of course, being appalled by this idea, Freya does not want to, take part in any of this. So the next best option comes from Heimdall. He is also one of my patron gods. Heimdall is considered the onlooker, the one who sees through all the realms and keeps watch over us, over the gods, over everyone. And he comes up with this brilliant idea to dress Thor as Freya by adorning him with a white gown, putting a white veil over his face to cover his face from the giants, as well as lining his belt with rings and keys to make Thor shimmer and shine like the beauty of Freya. Now, of course, Thor is completely against this idea for obvious reasons. But Loki convinces him. Loki convinces Thor to dress as Freya, while Loki decides to change to look like Freya's handmaiden. The two decide to go to Jotunheim to try and get his hammer back. While at Jotunheim, the giant greets them with a feast of drinks, of food, of anything. Thor decides to enjoy himself, more or less, by taking on the feast, by drinking his fill, by eating massive amounts of food. And all the while, the giant is confused as to why Thor is doing this. Now, Loki, of course, being the handmaiden, convinces the giant that the reason Freya, is acting like this is because she was deprived of food and deprived of sleep voluntarily due to her excitement of being betrothed to the giant. Now, of course, the giant, not being the smartest, accepts this ideal and moves on, and decides that now is the best time to perform the wedding. So he instructs one of his servants to bring Mjolnir out and place it on Thor's lap. Thor, of course, seeing the hammer finally back in his possession, takes hold of it and lays waste to every giant in that hall, crushing skulls, breaking bones, more or less a bloodbath, which again is, lack of reasoning, obvious that was going to happen. I mean, if someone were to take one of my weapons and I was forced to dress like that to just get it back, there's a good chance I would go on a little bit of a rampage myself. For obvious reasons. I'm not exactly what you would call feminine. So Thor gets his hammer back. Thor lays waste to the giants. He is the giant slayer after all. And returns to Asgard to celebrate the return of Mjolnir. Now, of course I left some bits and pieces out of the story to shorten it a little bit. Mostly just to progress through. There are hundreds of other stories. There are hundreds of other stories about individual gods. There are stories about how Odin tricked Thor into thinking he was a ferryman. There are times where Thor and Odin clash. There are so many good stories between the two alone that it's almost impossible to go over all of them in one video. So, of course, as this channel says, this is the Tales from Sleipnir. Now, I am not going to be always filming in areas like this. My original plan is to film in my vehicle with my camera phone. Why is that? Well, because I would show you, but it's not really camera ready yet. I have a large vehicle that I plan on filming in, and it's gonna look pretty good once it's fixed up. And that is Sleipnir. For those of you wondering who is Sleipnir, Sleipnir is actually the 8-legged horse that is ridden exclusively by Odin. That was birthed, if my memory serves correctly and if my research serves correctly, was birthed by Loki and given a gift to Odin. So Odin rides Sleipnir into battle for Ragnarok, which again we will cover later on. But this vehicle, once you see it and once she's fixed up the way I want her to be, you'll understand why I'm calling her Sleipnir. Now, a little bit more about me. As I said before, I live in the great state of Tennessee. I have this beautiful country to look at, this beautiful nature to behold in my backyard. So, needless to say, I enjoy living here. I am a very simple person. I am considered a minimalist by my friends. Not much else is going on with me. And I am pretty comfortable with that. I don't really want much from the world. Other than to appease the gods and to die respectfully. And honorably, of course. So, let's talk a little bit about practices. Some practices are, to be determined by the person. I'm not going to sit here and say, my way of practicing is perfect. You should only do what I do. That's not what this faith is about, and that's not what I want this faith to be about. This faith is about learning from trial. I personally have 2 altars, one of which is in my home, the other is outside. I recommend personally having an indoor and outdoor altar. Now, of course, you need to maintain both of these. This is a good way to practice and feel connected to the gods. A good way to maintain them is, of course, clean them. Make sure everything is polished, make sure all the dust is gone, make sure, it feels welcoming. Your altar can be small as a dining room table or as big as 2 shelves in your bedroom. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's on it, what means the most to you that you want to offer to the gods. You can offer gifts, you can offer food, drinks, whatever. As long as it's something you feel is acceptable to the gods. Now, as far as myself, like I said, I have 2 altars, one of which I keep in my home, one of which is outside. I do clean them pretty regularly. I also provide good offerings. Now, offerings can be anything from fruit to meat to plantation to vegetation to beer, wine, whiskey. I mean, some of my friends that are also Norse pagan tell me that Loki is very fond of tequila. I personally have not tried that because I do not speak to Loki very much. He is not a god that I work with directly. Now, Loki does like to play his little tricks on me. Uh, I believe personally because I'm a follower of Thor and Odin, but no, it is what it is. Loki likes to be a little bit tricky. He likes to be very, uh, for someone in my community, which is a gaming community, he likes to be a troll. It is what it is. So, Loki is very fun to mess with me. He enjoys it, and I get to bask in his laughter, more or less. Uh, but these are good practices. You know, this tells me that the gods are always talking to you. The gods may not speak to you for a while, but they will speak to you when they need to talk to you. When they need a message to get to you, I promise you, they will make that message clear. Speaking of which, I've had two big instances with the gods. One of which was with multiple gods. The other one was with Thor, exclusively, which is why he is our topic today. Thor spoke to me during my last video. Not during, more like after it was posted. Thor spoke to me in a way that just emitted this message that I just could not ignore. When my first video went up, and it went live, it was uploaded, whatever YouTube likes to say about it. When it was first on and ready to be seen, I had this amazing storm come into my house. This rain from what seemed like Thor itself brought a typhoon to my home. There was no thunder and lightning, but I knew that Thor was here, and he wanted me to know he was here. So when I first started hearing this rain, this just pelting down on my home, I knew that I needed to go speak with Thor. I knew I needed to be in his presence. And what I did was very simple. I simply went to my fridge, I grabbed some beer, I came out on my back porch, and I sat on the back porch and listened to the rain. I watched it rain, I enjoyed a beer, I poured a beer out for Thor to greet him, to welcome him to my home, and to make him know that I was listening. Now, the gods will speak subtly, but in some cases, they will speak boldly to you. And in those moments, you have nothing else you need to do but sit and listen and just take in the message. Now, some people have told me that they've not experienced those moments yet, while others have told me that all they experience is those kind of instances. Now, for those that do experience, moments like that, that's fantastic. I'm so happy to hear it. I love hearing those stories. And I would love to hear your stories. If you want to leave comments down below and you want to tell me some of these stories, I promise you, I will read them personally. There is no one else. It's just me, a tripod, and a camera. That's all that's filming this. No one else. I do the editing. I do it all. And I promise you, you leave a comment, tell me some of your stories, I will listen to them, I will react to them, I may even reply to them. You won't find out unless you tell me about them. Other people who have told me they have not experienced this, like I said, I'm only a few months in, and I've had two major experiences. I've been in it since June. That's not a lot. Two big moments with the gods is huge to me as someone who's new. So to those of you who have not experienced it, who are further along than I am, don't worry about it. I can honestly say with full faith that when the gods are ready, they will speak to you and you will hear it for days, weeks, months, years to come. I guarantee it. You just have to continue to have that faith. Keep talking to them. I promise you they will answer. They may not answer the way you think they will or the way you want them to, but trust me, when they answer, you will know it. So, a little bit more about this experience. When Thor spoke to me, he was telling me that this was something I needed to do. This filming, these channels, these videos to come, this is what he wants me to do. And that's fantastic. I love it. I love filming. I love photography. I love it all. Anything to do with a camera, I'm all in. Now, of course, I do have a Facebook page, which is Raven Heights Productions, which I will leave a link in the description. I also have a Patreon if you would like to, give me some information or go check that out. It's not very well made yet. I'm still working on it, but it'll build up. I also have an Instagram if you'd like to follow me on there. I will leave a link for that as well down below. All these social media outlets, this is how we as a community, we as a faith, we as a folk come together and learn from each other and experience with each other. As it turns out, a community that I'm currently with right now is planning a Yule gathering for December that I am planning on going to. And trust me, I will take you with me. I will bring a camera. I will make sure that a video is made and some experiences are shared so you can see some of the folk, so you can hear some of their stories. I will do my best to try and get some material out for you during that gathering. And I'm doing my absolute best to make sure I go so that way I can experience it as well. I've never been to a gathering. I've not really had much experience when it comes to meeting other members of the folk. I have met one, maybe two real Norse pagans that are from the same community that I consider brothers and sisters. Absolutely. No different than if they were my blood. And once you meet people of that community, once you experience that moment of togetherness and family, trust me on this, there's no greater pleasure when it comes to this faith. Now, as I said before, I do have other social media outlets, and some of my other friends who are Norse pagan have those same media outlets. So this is a part of the video where I'm going to give a quick shout out to some of my friends. First off, I want to give a quick shout out to someone who inspired me to start making these videos, and that would be Jacob, who is the owner and YouTuber of the Wisdom of Odin. Great source of information. He is an amazing person. He's just from what I've experienced, from talking to him, from meeting him, from listening to his videos, he's a genuinely good person when it comes to learning about the faith and learning about the gods. Another good one is the Norse Path. I'm not quite sure. I've not met him on a personal level, but from my understanding, he is a former military. He is, I believe, Air Force. If I get that incorrect, I do apologize. But he is also a good YouTuber. He is far along in the journey, further than I am. His videos are very informative as well. If you get a chance, definitely check him out. Definitely check out the Wisdom of Odin. I will leave links for both channels in the description below, which you can find. Another thing, if you'd like to check out my Instagram, you can find me at Ube Epli. I'll leave a little link for that as well. I'll leave links for just about all of this, so don't worry. If you miss it, don't worry. It'll be in more videos. So these are some people that inspired me to start this channel. These are people that, I learned from and who I hope to continue to learn from and bring that knowledge to you, my community, my viewers. So, of course, stick around because there's going to be more videos. There's going to be more talking about them. I may, if I'm lucky, I may have guests join me in this channel in these videos, and I hope to share their information with you. So, for now, I am going to leave you. If you hear it, there is some water going around. We've just had a very powerful storm hit us in the last couple of days. I'm going to leave you with some video. Now, these clips are just going to be something simple, which is the stream that I have running in my backyard, which I hope you have heard while I've been speaking to you. It may just sound like white noise. I apologize if it does. It sounds great from where I'm at. But I will leave a little clip in there at the end for you, just for you to enjoy, just to sit back and relax. enjoy nature. That's what it's all about. We are a community of people who want to experience nature, who want to be reconnected to our gods, who want to be connected to our ancestors, the folk, the faith, everything. And the best part about it is we get to enjoy this. We get to enjoy great views like these. I wouldn't change this for the world. I wouldn't give anything for anything less for what I'm at right now. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I plan to make many more to come. And I plan not to be so mouthy with the others. This has just been a bit more of a lengthy video, just to give you an idea of who I am, what I believe in, and maybe a story, just to give you an idea of who my gods are. Thank you again so much for coming and enjoying this video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that little bell button, you know you want to, and keep an eye out. My next video could be any time. I try to post regularly. I want to make sure that my videos get seen by those who want to see them. Thank you all so much. My name is Chris. This is the Tales from Sleipnir. Come back and see us anytime. To the faith, to the folk, to the gods and the ancestors, and to you, SKAL.